Welcome back to Meet the Owners. I'm your host, Joe Nadam, here with Mark, one of the owners of Independence Contracting, and we're going to learn about his business, how they got started, and it's going to be pretty cool. So let's jump into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you guys do. So
Sure.
for those who don't know.
At Independence Contracting, we do a lot of construction work for residential, commercial, and industrial. We do underground utilities, mostly storm sewer, site grading, excavation, whether it's digging a lake, regrading your yard to get sheet drainage. Our main focus is actually concrete. We do everything from building foundations, slab work for buildings. We do sidewalks, driveways, decorative stamped patios, retaining walls.
So all
Do
of
a
it.
little bit of it all.
Yeah,
Commercial wise, we do a lot of site development. We'll do all the dirt work, all the stone base, all the underground utilities up to the building, and then plumbers take over from there for Evansville code. But we'll do, we'd like to give a lot of turnkey projects.
hmm So that's a lot of stuff you guys do.
Yeah.
Now, before this, you were showing me some stuff for like a quote, and I'm like, that's a lot going on there that I couldn't do. So you're like, oh, you move some dirt. That seems easy. And it's like, no, it's not. You're
Yeah, there's a lot that goes
a
into it.
lot that goes into it. So what was your background before you started doing this?
So, my business partner Mickey and I both have about 20 years of experience. We've been doing construction ever since high school. Um, he started out in the mines doing civil construction, doing infrastructure underground. I've always been on the civil side, a little bit of the environmental side. Did some commercial construction for a while. I've traveled the U.S. a little bit. Mickey's, going out of the U.S. for construction as well. So we've done everything from residential to commercial to full out industrial power plants.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So what made you guys want to start your own business? Because you said you've been doing it for 20 years. Have you had this company for 20 years? What's the timeline?
We've been in business since October of 19.
Okay.
Um, so me and Mickey, we actually went to high school together. Um, and, we kind of went our different ways. And we were working for several different companies. We ended up at the same company, doing a large civil job, and kind of just realized that we didn't enjoy working at certain factories. I won't say a name. So we didn't get to pick what jobs we always got to work on. We found out that we could, kind of go on our own, get to choose what type of jobs we were passionate about, and that's kind of how this started.
Nice. So when you took the leap of faith to start the business, what'd your family say? Were they like on board? They're like, yes, this is awesome. Like a little sketchy.
Everybody was supportive. My family's been very supportive because starting a business, there's going to be some rough times
hmm
in construction. There's heavy cash flow, so there's at times that there's a lot of stress to not having the income you need to keep things running. But they were very supportive. It was kind of quick decision for Mickey and I, but things worked out.
That's good. So when it comes to construction, how does that in starting like a construction business? How does that differ than like your average shop that you would open up in town? I feel like you'd have a lot more permits you'd have to get
There's a
and
lot of
stuff.
licensing to it. You've got to have a knowledge base to pass the license test here in town. There's a lot more funding up front.
hmm
The construction that we do requires a lot of equipment cost, a lot of material costs that you're not seeing a return on for a while.
Okay. Do you guys own a lot of your equipment?
We have been slowly purchasing equipment.
Nice.
For some bigger jobs, we'll rent equipment. Sometimes we don't have, or well, we don't have we're not built up enough yet to have a full maintenance crew for bigger equipment. So, on bigger jobs, we will rent that equipment from other people.
Nice, nice. So, what does it look like starting a business like this? Like, if you're gonna like give it like a bullet point list of like we have to do X, Y, Z, and we did this wrong, and I do this next time.
I think for us, really, it was we did it kind of quick, but yet we waited to make sure that we had enough jobs to keep
hmm
things going steady at the beginning. But even with construction, there's a lot of people that have known names around town, so they're going to stick to those names. It takes a while to get that reputation built up. Um, but really, I'm not sure what I would do different other than avoid starting it right before COVID hit next time.
Yeah. How did that impact you guys?
It was a struggle. We had luckily we had a big job that, we were awarded for an elementary school up in Bloomington, and they shut down the school, which actually made the job easier for us. Um, we were considered essential workers, so we were at the school with no kids because the job was right on the playground. So the safety wise, that made it a lot better. So it was stressful. There was a lot of stress to it, obviously, for our families being at home,
Mm-hmm.
and also just with a lot of people being cautious about spending money. So it affected the residential side quite a bit.
When did you see it to start to like come back, like into 2020, or was it more like 22?
It
The
was
people.
about 21, maybe
Okay.
closer to 22. Again, a lot of people were scared to spend money, but at the same time, the people that did have it, they were sitting at home and wanted more, uh, you know, whether back patios to sit on to enjoy. So we did see an upkeep, but at the same time, there was a lot of caution.
Nice. Even with the recent tariff stuff that's been going on, like with China, like I met with a ton of people in April about business, and then they're like the tariff started, and they're like and they held on, and then soon as like the pause, like we put a pause with that,
Yeah.
people started calling me. I was like, that's interesting because I was like, I didn't expect that something on that large of a scale would affect me
Yeah.
locally personally, but it did.
You'll see that on presidential elections too. A lot of the commercial and industrial, they wait to spend their money to see what kind of tax write-offs they're going to get depending on what president's in. So construction's always interesting, but the Evansville region always seems to stay pretty fluid.
That's good. That's real good. Do you have any funny stories from from your past before you started the business, or starting the business where you're like,
Other than I think talking to my business partner about what we would do different next time is just not to do it.
yeah,
I encourage if people have a dream to do it. It has its perks. There are some cons. It's a struggle in the family. Um, just growing a business, you're obviously going to have some ups and downs.
hmm
So there's been a lot of fun times. We've started to see that this year to where Mickey and I got to make a trip to the world of concrete. So just some extra things that as the business grows, as you get more money in the bank, you can start to do things like that.
What is the world of concrete? Is it like Disneyland for construction
It's
workers?
amazing.
Nice.
It's the largest conference in Vegas, and it's just I mean we walked over 30 miles in 3 days, and still didn't see everything. They kind of have the Olympics of masonry and concrete there. You can bring your team out there and compete, and then there's just vendors and displays everywhere.
What was the thing that you told us about at BNI a couple weeks ago with the concrete formula? You could do like one handed.
That was the Fox blocks. It's a styrofoam block that can be used. It's almost like giant Legos,
Okay.
but they're hollow on the inside. They've got supports. You basically stack them for your foundation walls, retaining walls, and then you pour the concrete inside that. Um, you've got a heat gun that you can cut out for all your conduits. Makes everything real easy. It's kind of a newer thing, but it's really impressive, and I hope to build a home with it soon.
Yeah. Do you think people will implement it fairly quickly? Like, do you think it's a long term play?
They're using it in other locations. For some reason, Evans was always a little slower.
hmm
They're about 10, 15 years behind the industry of what they adapt here for construction.
Okay. Is it more expensive to use that stuff?
It's it is a little bit, but um, the basically the labor cost outweighs what it costs. So in the end, I compared it with a house recently with modern structure, and it turned out to be cheaper doing it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's just as secure foundation?
Yep.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Okay. So now that you're a business owner, what does your day to day look like compared to before?
Um, Before I was more of just a project manager estimator. Now, obviously, as a business owner, I've kind of adapted a lot more than that. Um, Mickey kind of runs more of the field and the day-to-day operations where I manage the in-office stuff. I do a lot of the estimating, site visits to review the jobs,
Mm-hmm.
manage all the stuff in-house, the material purchases, as well as, unfortunately, all the HR, AP, AR, and, payroll. So it's something that I wasn't used to before, and uh, hopefully soon we'll grow enough to where I can hand that off to somebody else.
That'd be nice. That's the
Yeah.
goal. That I do. I mean, I'm pretty small, but like the taxes and accounting, I'm like, this is literally the worst thing. It's complicated for no reason.
Yeah,
Complicated for no reason.
exactly.
I text my buddy who's a accountant, and I asked him like questions about it. I'm like, hey, can I write this off? Because it's like, now if I bought a house, I filmed a commercial in each room, can I write off the entire house? He's like, no, that's not how it works. I'm like, but what about
Yeah.
a time lapse, a lifelong documentary time lapse? Can I now write that? He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah. So now that's really good. Now, what would you tell somebody who's looking to start their own company?
I think the biggest thing is to be prepared for, there's going to be some struggles.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some times that you may be short on cash and you have a fear of, not being able to make payroll, but just pushing through. This is the biggest thing. It's hard to shut down as a business owner. You may see
Yeah.
that's been my biggest struggle, shutting down between when I stop working and when I, spend time with my family. Um, so just be ready for the stress, be ready for the struggles, but you're not going to get rich quick always.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the end, it has a lot of cons to it.
What's the long term? You said cons, a lot of cons to
Yeah.
it.
So I think some of that, or I'm sorry, a lot of pros, not cons.
I was gonna say.
There's a lot of pros. There's a lot of freedom to it. There's a lot of cons too, but no, there's a lot of pros to it.
Yeah, that's good. And then, what would you say? What advice do you have to those people that are doing it? Like, what should they do to get through the day if
I
they're
think
struggling?
you know everything we always heard was at year three you start seeing that it gets better. The stress, you sleep better, everything's kind of developed your business. That was true, and there's some of that was I didn't want to wait 3 years for that, but knowing that ahead of time did kind of
Mhm.
help, and that it did turn into that. So just stay strong, fight through it.
What changed at the 3 year mark? Did you guys do something differently? You've just been doing it long enough. You know what changes you need to make to improve processes. What that look like?
I think a lot of it was, we had a good team. We still have a good team, and a lot of it was just getting a lot more funding. We've got our name out there.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing an easier turn of jobs coming in instead of reaching out to so many other people for jobs. They were just, everybody was coming to us without us
I
having
see.
to go after them.
That's nice. That's
Yeah,
what you want.
exactly.
That's really nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, we like to ask a fun question.
Sure.
Every episode we ask it. What's your favorite movie?
It'd have to be Christmas Vacation.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. I like Christmas Vacation.
Close second is The Jerk.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit older movie, but
I haven't watched all of it. I've seen
yeah.
parts of it. My dad likes it. The one part I remember from that is he's like, "Oh, I need that. I need that." He's like
One more
leaving.
thing.
Oh,
All I need is this thermos.
Yeah, all I need.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Christmas. Why is Christmas Vacation your favorite?
It's always been a family favorite. My dad and my uncle made it a family tradition that it was always watched. I think about every Thanksgiving, and then several times leading up to Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's easily recited in our family.
My family's the same way. And it's one of those movies where like you watch it every year and then you pick up on like, something new that you didn't notice before, which is makes it so much better. Great movie. Great movie. We quote that movie so much around Christmas time. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So, last question.
Sure.
If you had to send everybody who watches this video to support one business that's not yourself, who would it be?
Well, I'm going to do several.
That's fine. Everybody does.
So, one of our partners that we do a lot of custom homes with is Custom Home by Modern Structure. My sister's business, Doggy Style Grooming Salon. My buddies at Franklin Street Pizza Factory. And then the Big Ass Slice Shop down at the Main Street Food and Beverage. Then, of course, RB&I Group.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you and I met.
Yes, sir.
Make sure I don't miss anybody.
It's a big
So,
group.
If anybody's interested in coming out to our BNI Group Network Exchange, we meet on Thursdays at 7:45. Get a hold of one of us. We'd be happy to help you. We've got signs now: Purpose Driven Painting, Jarrett Security Solutions, Stanley Steamer, Sims Electric Plumbing and Mechanical, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Robinson Renovations, Arrow Pest Control, At Properties, Healthy Spaces, Affinity Insurance Group, Charles Schwab, Film Unleashed. Got Paulson Insurance, GR Freeman Heating and Air, For Good Community, Hometown Title, Charter Communications, and Systems Integrations Group. we'd be happy to have you guys come visit and meet everybody.
Yeah, it's a good group, lots of nice people. And then the first few people that you mentioned are also great. Pizza Factory, love their pizza. It's so sneaking good. I can't believe it took me so long to get over there and try it. And then I was like, I tried it. I was like, this kind of is one of my favorite, which it's kind of crazy because, what is it? My family loves Parkway. So it's kind of, I'm going against the grain when I'm like, man, Pizza Factory's kind of good. There's something about their cheese, I think, that just,
Yeah.
it's good.
Which Michael that is one of the owners of Franklin Pizza Factory, owns the Big Ass Slice Shop too.
Really?
So it's more of a New York style, giant slices. And that's a cool place down there.
Now where are they at?
That's the Main Street Food and Beverage. It's almost like a food court.
Oh,
So there's
yeah.
several local restaurants in there.
I need to go. People keep talking about it. I've yet to go.
We'll do one there.
That's good. Let's do it. I like that. Okay. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe with any questions. Watch another video right here. We'll see you around.